Making the call to quarantine someone, just personally as the principal, I was trying to do all of that myself because it is such a difficult call. I didn't want my assistants to have to take that on. We had so many at one point that we all had to step in. But it happens to everyone, and it happened to me. So I had to quarantine, which was a good learning experience to see what that was like. Quarantining last year when the entire nation was quarantined was very different than being quarantined when the rest of the population is still going to school and living their life. So I know that just quarantining makes people feel like somehow we've done something to deserve that. And that's what we're trying to get across is it's a safety measure. It's no one's fault this is happening. We can't control this other than what we're doing, and we're doing our best.
We need to do all of that actual limit work. You can just tell by looking at the graph. Since once again, we have...
The first thing we do when a student calls in sick and provides symptoms is, we're asking questions. Usually the nurse is giving me information. The minute you hear they've lost sense of taste or smell, we know immediately. Let's start pulling the class lists and see, if we're going to have to quarantine, if that student comes back positive. All the teachers have had to upload their seating charts with student pictures. I've been to classrooms, several, just to measure and be able to provide that documentation because I want to make sure that I'm not just quarantined to quarantine. I want people to understand that it is difficult to tell a kid who really wants to be at school that they can't come here. And sometimes, most of the time, they don't even have symptoms. So it's really challenging when they can't participate in their club or activities. They can't be with their peers. They have no symptoms, they're not feeling sick, and yet I'm making them stay home and basically feel like they're grounded. So I really want to make sure we're doing our due diligence. So we have measured, we have had conversations with teachers on how often were you doing cooperative learning structures? Were you within 6 feet? Were they facing each other? So we've tried to look at the research. Kids should not be facing each other. It's better when they're side by side if they're collaborating. So it's a lot of shoulder partner work this year, and really try to find those practices that keep our kids and staff safe. If we want to stay in person, we have to keep these things in place, and we have to hold people accountable consistently, because I do feel like our community is doing a good job, our students are doing a good job, and staff, and we're not spreading or catching the virus at school from what we can see so far. And we do a good job, holding up those measures, keeping our 50% capacity, not allowing those kids to be mixed. And with that, I want to get in classrooms and be able to show there's still great things happening. And I can't get behind the scenes because I'm too involved in other things. Principals, assistant principals, office ladies up front are all taking on roles revolving around our social distancing, our keeping kids safe, our contact tracing and making sure that we know where everybody is at all times, and that the protocols, the cameras are working. All of those things need to be on at all times, all day long, so that if something does happen and we have to do an investigation and make sure that kids may have been compromised in some way, that we can backtrack and get those answers that we need.